So we're going to be talking about the difference between por and para in Spanish, and this is coming from somebody who has had to learn that themselves. So I've been through this before. I remember the frustration of not being able to understand what the difference was and in what circumstance to use each of these words, because in English we just use the word for most of these things. So having this, these two separate words and use them in different situations and meanings was pretty confusing. But all you really need to do is just figure out in what circumstance to use each one and in which application to do it. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. It seems really complicated, especially in the beginning when you're not used to using multiple words for the same word, but it's really going to just come with practice. Right now, it's second nature to me. I don't have to even think about it when I use por or para. I just know in what circumstance to use because it just sounds right to me. And you're going to get to that point only by practicing. And I know that sounds pretty cliche, but it's really not that difficult. You just have to be having good practice, meaning that you're using it in the right situations. So the best way to learn for me has always been with examples, so that's what I'm going to give you. So when we're talking about duration or time, let's think about this. Time. How long did you play for? So if we have this example of, in English, of how long did you play for? And we're looking specifically at the word for. If you don't know the rest of these words, don't worry about it. I'm just going to go ahead and, I'm not going to worry too much about translating it. I'm just going to write it out how it is. Whenever you have a sentence like this, you take the word for and you're just going to move it over to the beginning of the sentence. And we're going to use the word por. So this would be, ¿Por cuánto tiempo jugaste? Is how you would say, how long did you play for? With this por being at the beginning of the sentence. You use por because if you were to say, ¿Para cuánto tiempo jugaste? It wouldn't sound right and it just sounds weird. A native speaker would still understand what you're trying to say, so don't stress if you make that mistake. They'll probably just correct you. No big deal. Move on with your life. So just use por. Whenever we're talking about time or duration, we're going to use the word por. Another example would be if I wanted to say, we have to drive for 8 hours, and excuse my bad handwriting throughout this video. This is the word for, we're going to use por. It would be, tenemos que manejar or conducir por 8 horas. You're going to use the word por. So if you're taking notes, I would just go ahead and put over here, time, and you can also put time/duration if you wanted to. So that's the first use of por that we're going to talk about. Another use of por is when you're thinking of, I'm going to go ahead and write it, but let's just look at motivation. But you might see this on the internet, but you might not really understand what it means. It really just means that you did something for someone. So if you want to write below this, something for someone, that would be an easy way to remember this. I'm just going to give you an easy example. If I wanted to say, I'm going to give you a dramatic example because this is how I learned it. I killed him for you. You know, it's a little dramatic, but if you wanted to say that, you would say, lo maté por ti. Why did you kill him? I did it for you. Think of being dramatic like that. Another cool use is if we're going to talk about a trade or an exchange. Te cambio $10 por 8 euros. This means I will trade you $10 for 8 euros. So if you're going to talk about a trade, you're going to use the word por. This could also, doesn't have to be with money. It can be with anything. If you wanted to say, I'll give you my apple for your socks. It could be whatever. So a trade, we've got time or duration, and then we've got motivation, doing something for someone already on the list for por. The last example for por is we're going to talk about communication. And what I mean by communication is basically if you're talking about the means of which you communicated. And this really, if you want to put the word by here, that's what I would do. So if you've got the word by talking about communication, then you're going to use the word por. And what this means is I contacted her by phone. La contacté por teléfono. I contacted her by phone. You're going to use the word por. So it's not even really using the word for anymore. We're just talking about communication by a certain means. You could also use this if you're saying I contacted someone through email, or I'm going to get in touch with you through the post office or by the post office. You can also use the word through, which is what we're going to talk about now, because the other important use of por is the word, I'm running out of space here, I'm just going to kind of throw it down here, through. There's really not much I can say about this. If I wanted to say I'm walking through the stadium, I'm going to use the word por. Estoy caminando por el estadio. I'm walking through something. I'm going to walk through the door. Voy a caminar por la puerta. So if you're going to use the word through, then you're going to use the word por. And pretty much if you're going to use the word by, you're also going to use the word por. So I am tired about talking about this word. Now let's move on to this word. Para is one of the most useful words that you're ever going to use in the Spanish language. And one of the first uses you'll have is a destination. And when you're talking about a destination and you're using the word to is specifically what we're referring to. So like if I wanted to say, I'm going to your house, we would say, voy para tu casa. So I am going to, and this is for the word to, and then this is how you say your house, if you didn't know how to say that. If I wanted to say, I'm going to France, voy para Francia. If I wanted to ask, where are you going? I'm going to say, ¿para dónde vas? And I'll write that here real quick. ¿Para dónde vas? And you're supposed to have a little accent over that for some reason. Para is also used for recipients of something. So we've got a recipient. So if I'm giving something to you, or if this package is for you, or this present is for you, you're going to use the word para. For example, who is that gift for? This gift is for you. Este regalo es for you, para ti. This gift is for you. And this is, of course, the word for. So if you're talking about giving something to someone, or if something is for someone, or if there's just a recipient involved, we're using the word para. Don't confuse this for with something like motivation, because you might say, hey, I got this gift for you. You're still giving something to someone. So there's a difference between giving something or having something for someone as opposed to doing something for someone. If you said, I went through all of the trouble of getting this package or gift for you, then I might use por, like I did all of this for you. But if I'm just like, here's your package, here's your gift, then this is para ti, this is for you, with the word para. A cool way to use para as well is for deadlines. So you can use this, you can use the word for, and this is also how you're going to use the word due, like a due date. So if I wanted to say the presentation is due on Tuesday, or the presentation is for Tuesday, I'd say la presentación, the presentation, es para el martes. The presentation is for Tuesday, or the presentation is due on Tuesday. It's the same exact meaning. Let's talk about goals. So maybe you're learning Spanish to travel to Spain. Maybe that's one of your goals. So you could say, I am learning Spanish to go to Spain. And then you could also use this para word if you wanted to say, in order to. If I wanted to say, in order to do this, para hacer esto, and then you can go on with the sentence. So that's another great use of this word if you want to write down this in your notes too. In order to is also another use of the word para. Another cool example of a goal could be, say, maybe you wanted to say, you need to work harder to win. Tienes que trabajar más duro para ganar, to win. In order to use por and para in a phrase, these are the situations where you're going to want to have to use that. But there's also some phrases that are really important to know, such as of course, or forever, or so that. You want to use para que. Little things like that. There's a bunch of these little phrases that I'm going to put on my website. It's a lot easier to go over that way because it's just stuff that you should just memorize. So if you go to my website, the link will be in the description. I'm going to have a whole list of things that you're going to be able to take a look at, take a screenshot of, write in your notes, whatever you want to do of the little phrases that include the words por and para for you guys. If you have any questions, please comment down below. Please give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. While you're on the website checking that out, be sure to also check out my free 7-step guide to learning Spanish quickly and effectively. It's the same steps that I use to learn Spanish fluently in just a matter of months and not a matter of years stuck in the classroom. You don't have to do that. You can learn it online just like me as quickly as possible. So go ahead and download that free guide. It's a PDF. It doesn't take long to read and it's going to help you out a ton. Look out for my next video. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. Comment below with any Spanish questions that you have. And don't forget, again, to subscribe to the channel. Hasta luego.